Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed and I'm back with the second part of the LangChain for beginners. So let's dive in. What are agents in LangChain? So they're the most important and most powerful features in LangChain. They allow the language model to reason, make decisions, and use tools to give us better answers or take actions to get us answers or anything. So tools are custom functions in our language model that they can use on its own. Like you don't have to specifically tell it to go use that tool. You can ask a question and it can like use a calculator, add a Google search, or even translate your question into a SQL query and run it on your database. So you have to provide the function for it. The simplest example I can give you is a calculator. It looks like this in LangChain. You put an @ tool, and under it you define the function, the input, output, everything, and it just runs. How does an agent work? So the typical way that it works is to think about a problem. You ask a question, it thinks about the problem, chooses the right tool, uses the tool, and repeats until it finds the answer. Uh, what it works is that you give it a name, you give the function a name, so that the model sees the tool. You give some description so to explain how it can be used and where in the reasoning it can be used, and a Python or an actual function that it can use to give you the result. Just like this one, it has a name, it's a calculator. Actually, there's a short description in it in the real example that we're gonna see in a minute. And yeah, and the function. So what is the typical flow? So the flow that we usually use is that we define a prompt that tells the LLM how to reason and when to use the tool. We create an agent. In this example, because we are using OpenAI's functions, we create a create OpenAI functions agent that enables the function calling, and we pass the agent to AgentExecutor and give it a query so it can run it. Agents are powerful because they can decide what to do and not just follow one fixed prompt. Why do we use create OpenAI functions agent? In After the GPT 3.5 Turbo, the ability to use functions and this feature in language models was added. So LangChain uses this function to create agents that can actually run functions and get results. What we're doing is that we get a query, we let our LLM and the agent to decide if it should use the calculator, Wikipedia tool, or LLM. I mean, just it doesn't actually require any sort of assistance from any of the tools, so it just responds. So there are some small technical notes, but they're important. Uh, in LangChain, we use @ tool, as I have mentioned before. It's a decorator, and it automatically registers it as a usable tool for our agents, and it converts it into a format that supports the function calling. Let's see the code. So here we can see some examples. Uh, we have some libraries that we had to call for this. We have to automation and run. For this example, you have seen already the load.environment to load our environment variables into the code, and we are using GPT 3.5 Turbo, and we set the temperature to 0 because we want accurate, exact answers. So the first thing we did was to define our calculator tool. As you can see, the @sign tool is here. We defined a function where we get a string as an input and we give string as an output. The explanation says calculate a simple mathematical expression. So the LLM sees this and that it can use it. Um, we run it and return the results. As simple as that. But for Wikipedia tool, because it's already integrated in utilities.community LangChain community, it's something like this that we call the Wikipedia wrapper. Um, so it creates an object that knows how to run the query on Wikipedia, but the Wikipedia query run actually knows how to run the query on Wikipedia. So it just runs the query, runs your question, and gets returns the answer, and that's it. In the next cell, we are introducing our tools, and we store it in a tool variable. Then we pass it to the function that we talked earlier, create OpenAI functions agent. This is an important part. This is the prompt that we create to explain to the LLM that what we are doing. We are telling it that you are a smart assistant that can use different tools to answer questions. We introduce some uh, variable name like for chat history, for agent uh, sketchpad, scratchpad. Sorry. Um, what this is actually doing is that we use exactly this in our prompt later. We call the chat history, we call the input. We are not actually storing any messages, so it doesn't really mean anything right now, but actually the agent scratchpad is important because it can remember what it was thinking before. So when it comes to the final answer, it can use the previous thoughts to provide the best possible answer to our question. So then we finally pass our LLM tools and prompt to the create OpenAI functions agent, and we put that in uh, agent executor. So the verbose, I don't know. It is set to true, so we're gonna see some uh, extra details and some errors. So we run that part. We run this one, this one. Good thing we don't have any errors. And yep. And we finally run some questions like what is the capital of France? What is 23 times 45? And we finally ask it to write us a short poem that uses, about the sea. So what these questions are targeting is that the first one is actually trying to force the agent to use Wikipedia tool to retrieve the most update and open access information here. And next, it's asking some question that can be solved using a calculator. And finally, we go to the last prompt, which just requires a simple LLM. So let's run this. The question is, what is the capital of France? Invoking Wikipedia with this. The query is capital of France. It does some query search and it returns the results. And the final answer is the capital of France is Paris. The second question, what is 23 times 45? Invoking calculator with this, and the result is 23 times 45 is 1035. Great. And this is what the user says. Okay. And the final question is write a short poem about the sea. and this is what we get. So we basically understood how to use tools in LangChain. It's straightforward, simple, and you can just introduce your own tools. You don't have to be limited to these. And yep, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next video. Bye bye.